Hi everyone, it's Giselle with a message for today, and I wanted to talk about some realizations that I had. So, yesterday I went to see a friend who I haven't seen for a few months. Um, as you may be aware, if you've been watching my previous two videos, I've been kind of in cocoon mode, keeping to myself. Well, not completely to myself. I mean, I see my sister all the time. And because me and her have been through a very painful journey together, um, we're pretty much the only people that we've kind of confided in. Aside from another good friend that I haven't really spoken to my other friends about this whole crazy situation that happened with our family. But these are the kind of things that you can't really text either, you know, or it's even talking on the phone makes it a bit, I don't know. I've found it better to actually tell her in person. So we met for breakfast yesterday, and she told me a bit about her difficulties and struggles, and then I had to tell her about mine. It seems like a lot of people are just having a rough time as of late, but it's always good to share and get things off your chest. And just a problem shared is a problem halved. And I really did feel, although it felt like an intense therapy session, just letting all my feelings out, it was eventually quite freeing and good for me. And so I came to the conclusion, talking to her about what had transpired with my family and the reason why me and my sister can no longer continue on with them, because it was just hurting our spirit and our soul, and our mental state was suffering, and we had to put ourselves first and draw the line, create boundaries, and just focus on our lives now moving forward. um I came to the realization, when telling my friend all of this, that I really missed my grandmother. And she asked to see a photo of her, and I had one on my phone, and I showed her. And she was quite surprised. She said, "Oh, she's quite a young woman in that photo." It was a photo of me and her holding me when I was 1 year old, a 1 year old baby, and she was 46, I think. So she's only 45 years older than me. And yeah, my friend was really surprised that she looked so young. I said, yeah, she was. She was, the person that brought me up and showed me love from a young age. And I am very grateful to her for that, because I came to the realization that despite me having a gift, and despite me being able to tune in to the spirit realm and communicating with her in spirit, it's just not quite the same, is it? And I felt this really strong, intense longing in my soul to physically be with her. And yes, being connected in spirit is awesome, and it gives so much more closure. And it doesn't end the relationship. Whereas with some people, when they don't believe in spirit, or when they don't feel connected, they could well feel that when someone passes, they've gone forever, and that's that. And with me, I know that we haven't lost connection, but it's just different, and it's good, but it's not the same. And then it got me thinking about some of the responses I would give before. And I've come to realize that they were trauma responses, and I was trying to make myself a lot braver and a lot stronger than what I really was, just to protect myself from myself. It wasn't even to protect myself from anyone else, it was really to protect myself from me and from how I really felt. And it's crazy. And now I understand why my friend, although she admired me for the work that I do and for my gifts, she also envied me for a while. It was the weirdest thing, and until we communicated this to each other and made each other aware and became vulnerable, I didn't fully realize that this is how she saw it. Because my family had such a way of being fake and putting on this facade of we're the perfect family when we're really not. We're the most dysfunctional family you'll ever come across. Um, my friend was envious because she had such a bad relationship with both her parents, and she secretly envied me for having such a great family. And I said to her, "Are you joking?" And I this wasn't yesterday, but this was quite a while ago. When I said to her that I didn't understand how she could be envious, and she said, "Well, you've got both your parents; they're both still alive, where hers have passed, and you seem to be getting along." And I'm like, "Well, that's a facade. We don't really. In private, our mother tries to triangulate the children, keeping us all apart, you know, pinning one against the other. It was awful." And she said, "Well, I never knew that." I said, "No, because it's embarrassing. Like, how do I come out and say these things?" But then yesterday I gave her the whole story and the full extent of what actually went down and how dysfunctional we truly were. And she was shocked. But she was happy that I shared these things with her. But yeah, she envied me for having a perfect family, which I definitely did not. I just was too embarrassed to admit the truth and tell her really what things were like. Because I wanted to be strong. I wanted to be a leader. I had this business and I'm helping all these people through my gift. And I didn't want to appear as weak. And of course, it's not weak now, I realize. But back then, I didn't fully understand how people would take me seriously if I had all this pain behind me, if I had lived this horrific existence. Now I know it's something that actually makes me stronger and makes me more relatable and able to understand and empathize so much more with people because of what I've been through. But back then, I just wanted to have this perfect image. Not perfect, but like, not have this embarrassing backstory of, oh, I don't speak to my family anymore because they were. I don't know if I should say the word because YouTube might flag my video and then I can't continue on. I don't know. It starts with the letter A, and it's basically them being unkind, hurtful, and physically harmful to me. I think you get the gist of what I mean. Yeah. And so she never knew that extent of how bad it was. And then she said, "Well, we have so much more in common than I realized." And said, "Yeah, yeah, we do." It hurt me so much to hear from my friend that she thought that my mother truly loved me and missed me because that's the image that she portrayed when they went to the toilets together. And I didn't have to go, so I stayed behind to watch my dog. Um, and they went to the toilet together, and I thought, oh God, I hope that that woman doesn't come out and invent things that aren't true. But of course she did. Why did I expect any different? And then my friend said, "But she loves you and cares for you." No. If she did, why did she never tell me this? Why is she telling you? That's baffling. So throughout these realizations, I've also realized that I truly do mimic and mirror my twin flame. The reason why he's been so defensive and when he's been so insecure, he's blocked me from seeing his life is because he was like me. He was trying to also portray this perfect image of him, trying to be a leader in his field. He doesn't do psychic readings, but he does other work for which he wants to be respected. And just like me, he tries to hide his vulnerable, true, painful side of his life. And I get it. And it's something that you can't force to happen. it's a realization that you have to allow to occur naturally, and only through allowing will you grow. And so I get it. I get why he does that, because I did the same. I did. And I've also come to realize I was so sad yesterday talking to my friend about my grandmother and how much I missed her. And I've come to realize that me saying things like, I don't really need anyone in my life, I just want them in my life, is also a trauma response, because yes, I do. I do still need people. A physical relationship, not just a spiritual one. Yeah, being in the 5D and connected is all great, but I do want that physical relationship. And being tough and saying things like, well, if they don't want me, then tough. Well, I don't want them either. It's trying to be defensive, thinking that you're putting yourself first, but really you're just building a wall around your heart. And I've acknowledged and realized I do need physical touch. Yes, I love being able to connect with people who've transitioned into spirit in the 5D, but I miss hugging them. And it's great that I haven't fully lost them, but it's still not the same. And that's something I haven't really admitted to myself until now. And I just wanted to share this story in case any of you are going through this, and in case any of you have built up a wall around your heart, to help you to understand what's happened. And being vulnerable is painful and not easy, but it's necessary, and it will help to open you up again. Because it's one thing saying you're ready and willing to receive true love in your life, but if you're building a wall around you to help protect you and defend you when you feel like you're going to get hurt, then you're not really able to receive, because the wall is keeping everything out. So yeah, I thought I'd share this because it was a very enlightening conversation for me yesterday, and my friends thanked me for sharing. I felt awful for sharing initially. I was apologizing. I said, oh my God, I'm so sorry I have to share this with you, because I feel bad. Like, I don't want to traumatize people secondhand through my story. But then she said, no, thank you for sharing. I needed to know this. And she also said, had I known the type of people that they truly are, I wouldn't have invited them in my house. And I said, well, I wouldn't have extended your invitation had I known the capability. Yes, I'd always known that they weren't right, but because I didn't want to lose certain family members, I was kind of putting up with it for their sake, because I didn't want to lose them. And they had to see things in their time, so I couldn't rush them and try to take them away not take them away, but like, I don't know, isolate them, I guess. They had to be ready to see the things for themselves and make the choice to distance themselves on their own. That was not up to me. And this is why I was trying to explain to my friend, because she said, well, you could have cut them off. And I did. I cut them off 20 years ago because of how they treated me as a child. But then because I couldn't establish a connection with the people I wanted in my life, I kind of had to put up. I didn't have to, but I guess I didn't know what other way I could do it other than reestablishing contact with them so that I could have people in my life again. And those people had to then see for themselves what this was and make the decision for themselves to not continue on, so that we could both cut ourselves off from this and move forward in a positive way. So it was hard. It wasn't just an easy... If it was just for me, yes, I would have not reestablished anything and I would have just remained no contact. But I just didn't want to lose certain people. I didn't want to be alone. So it was a tough decision that I feel ultimately things have worked out. It just wasn't easy. And it's not something I wanted to share on this channel because to me, it was very embarrassing. Now I feel I'm helping people. The first video that I made telling you this 2 videos ago, I felt very, very vulnerable and very scared to post it because it's nothing to do with twin flames as such, but it is to do with the struggles on a spiritual journey, which indirectly still applies to the twin flame journey. But it's not been easy. It's something that took a lot because, as you've seen, I was on a break unintentionally, but I hadn't posted for months because I felt defeated. I was like, how do I give positive messages? How do I grow people with inspirational talks when I myself am going through hell? But now I realize that a lot of you are going through similar things or have gone through similar things. And so many of you have left me encouraging messages and comments to say that you appreciate this coming out and being talked about. So thank you for feeding that back to me, because I didn't realize how much this would actually help all of us. Because initially I was like, oh my God, I had this policy where I only wanted to bring out positive messages, and when I was in a high vibrational positive energy is when I wanted to release my videos. I didn't want to bring anyone down. But that's not life. Life has ups and downs. Life has difficulties and trials and tribulations. But what I want to show is how you can overcome it, how you can make it through, and how you can become stronger. And inadvertently, without me realizing initially what was going on, I now see what my twin was doing. He was so deeply embarrassed of his situation that he didn't want me to see it. I thought, what the heck is he hiding? Like, why do you not want me to see your life? But now I get it. There was an initial shallow facade pretending to be happy, just like I was pretending to be happy, to cover up a deeper wound. And I respect that he doesn't want me to see it, and that's fine. And just as I wasn't ready to share my vulnerable situation, I'm just gonna have to trust that if he does want to share this one day, that he will. But you can never make people do something before their time. I realize this now because I couldn't bring myself to tell you about this before my time. But now I am, and now I'm sharing, and I hope this helps you. So if you want to connect with me for any of my services, I do readings, healings, channeled messages, meditations. All my details are on my website in the description, but I am also doing April offers. So if you go to my community tab on my YouTube page, you will see the April offers and links to the discounts that you can get. So thank you all so very much for watching and for your kindness and support for me and my journey. And I'll speak to you again soon. Have a beautiful day. Namaste.